Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I am joined by Mother of Graves, who are in the studio right now. Mother of Graves, thank you so much for joining me tonight. How are we doing?
Course.
Yeah.
Good. Could be better. I'm not feeling too well, so I'm upstairs and they're downstairs. So
Mhm. Yeah, I heard
So
about this. So you're in the same location. You're just in
yeah,
different parts of the building.
we rehearse at my house. So yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, how
So
are
you're
you?
recording at your house, or is that what you're doing right now, or are you just
No, no,
rehearsing?
no, no. That
Cool.
takes place at Ben's house. So
Yeah,
Got it.
we record at my house, my little home studio setup, but it works. I mean, there's a lot you can do these days at home. So
yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, we had rehearsal tonight for Northwest Terror Fest, which is coming up in May. So we need to get back on it and run through the
Sick.
setup.
Get the rust off and everything.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, it's been about a year and a half since your debut, Where the Shadows Adorn. With time removed and looking back, how have you found that response to have been? Were you surprised by it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
got
I
a
mean,
lot
I
of-
don't know. You never really know what to really expect, when it's something that personal to you in a way where it's just like, hey, we're into this as much as we are, but how is the world going to hear it,
Yeah.
So, but to hear the response that it was nice, to
We
say the
happy
least.
about that. We're not mad about it.
That record,
Yeah.
not only obviously it's your debut, it means a lot, but it actually has a weird special place in the Beaver Boss world. It was like when I just started this channel, it was like the third video I ever did. So
Remember that?
it's
Yeah.
we've come a long way, both of us. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Heck,
Yeah.
like, seriously.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, from my understanding, you're working on record number two. Is that correct? Like right now?
Mhm. Yep.
Yes.
It's all done as far as the songs go. What are we? Four songs done vocally, and I think we have four more to do at this point. And then Corey has to record bass, and that's about it.
Got a few more guitar things to do,
That too.
and Ben's gotta mix it.
Work
Yeah.
the magic.
Yeah. But Don tracked everything in January with scratch tracks. So
Yeah.
we did the drums professionally at a studio. So
Yeah. Shout out to
Sounded good.
Azimuth Recording.
yeah, for real.
Thank you.
Azimuth did a great job.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So it sounds like tracks are written, tracks are being recorded. So maybe for my listeners who don't know, like what's the post recording process? When can we expect this? What's the next steps after we have everything laid on track and mixed and everything?
Yeah, so Ben's gonna mix it in-house in his studio. We're gonna send it off to Dan Swano again to master it. He's already on board to do that.
Hmm.
After we do that, I mean, we just submit it to our label, and in the whole promotional cycle and pressing and everything starts from there. So we're looking at an October release. The exact date to be determined, but it should be October.
All
Cool.
for sure.
Yeah, labels. I'll never really understand how they figure out their release dates, but most bands I talk to don't understand it either. But I just kind of trust. Well, they'll figure it out. It'll come out sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just told that if we want it out this fall, we have to have it handed into the label fully done in June, or by June.
And fall works great for us, for our style. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah. That whole
Yeah.
kind of gothic death doom. It's like it was like literally invented for falling leaves.
right.
Yeah. I think that was also a really big selling point for Shadows too, is when it came out, everybody's already in that
Hmm.
kind of really depressive mood, just with the weather. So with
Yeah,
the earth kind of going back to sleep for a while. So
Yeah.
All that we talked about, fall
Mhm.
and
yeah.
good
guess
timing all around. So
fall.
Yeah. If we brought that out in July, it'd be a disaster.
mhm.
Yeah, there's no like I don't know, no cider to sip to it. It's just like it doesn't work. Yeah. Um, so are you the recording process for this, is it similar, the same as the last one, or are we changing up a bit?
It's pretty identical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's identical. Honestly, we're doing drums with someone who knows what they're doing. Get those drum tracks into the studio at my house, and then everything else is just tracked, at home, to be honest, and you can kind of do everything else there. And obviously, when we send it off for mastering, Dan adds his own special magic to it. So it's the same process as before.
Good formula.
Write in a weird way too. Like we don't typically write all together in one room. So like some of these songs have been like demoed out on tape for months and months and months. So
Yeah.
they're already there. So Ben's like sitting there working on them as we go along, and then we just come in and do our own parts. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's it like working with Dan Swano? I mean, a legend, knows what he's doing. Has such a resume.
It's an honor and a privilege, to say the least. I mean, I've looked up to that guy for a long, long time. And to just to have his hand on our materials, I'm grateful.
Mhm.
So
back, man. Like I've just emailed him like questions about Edge of Sanity, and he just like answers them like, oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
He's super rad.
Just to have that seal of approval of who's someone who had just built a name in underground metal and just like, yeah, I like your band. That has to feel amazing.
Dude, holy shit, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, considering we used him for the EP and Shadows, and now we're doing it again. Just like we become like friends with the guy at this point. That's wild to fucking think about.
Yeah.
So we did this single on the Decibel Flexi series, and we needed mastered like really quick. Like there's a quick turnaround, and I emailed him, and he's like, "Of course I'll do it for my customers, my good returning customers." And like it was awesome.
And fucking 10 minutes later, I'm like, my God, dude.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I can only imagine how many projects he is like juggling at the same time and still like is like getting right to
Yeah, he's a busy guy. So
Well, you brought up that flexi disc. I did want to ask you about it. It was recently in Decibel magazine. How did that come about? And did you see kind of a good rise in attention to your bands as a result of this?
Yeah, so we had we got asked to play the Decibel Metal Fest, Beer and Metal Fest in Denver. And Albert from Decibel, leading up to it, he was like, "Hey, would you guys want to do a flexi?" And we're like, "Fuck, okay, sure, yeah, of course we do."
Yeah, right.
And like you can put if you have an extra song, if you want to do something original, and we're like, "Hey, we have this song that was going to be on the last album and we never finished it," and that's what that song was. So we had everything done musically on it. Brandon just had to come in and do vocals, and then Ben mixed it up and we sent it off. So yeah, like Albert thought it would be a good luckily we have him on our side. He's always been great to us, and he thought it would just be a good like little bit of promotion going into that festival. And it was. I mean, it's a great response, and everybody who's heard it has seemed to like it as far as I know. So
I think you're understating it when you say a little bit of promotion. I mean, it's Decibel. I mean, like every metalhead knows it. We all read. I mean, I have it right here. Like it's it's Decibel.
Cool. We've always had a pretty cool relationship with Decibel just because of Sean from Wise Blood. When we first started, we were the first band that he signed, and he was a good buddy of ours before that, like good guy in the local scene, and just his connections in general was a big factor of where we became, or where we got to,
Absolutely.
So he's a great guy, great help. He plugged us into all the right people, and yeah, we how many fucking interviews have we done with Decibel? It's like a lot. It's pretty cool, and they're all good people over there too. So
yeah. Well, your band, the way I would categorize it, you play sort of a melodic death doom, very much in the style of like a Paradise Lost. Would you say that's correct? Am I giving your band sound justice? How exactly would you categorize it?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's a good band.
Yeah.
I mean, we like to trinkle our own elements in here and there, trying to really define the sound that we have right now. It's like, I mean, we can sit here and write on the influences and all that, but at the same time, we really need to find ourselves, and lately we really have, in my opinion. So it's nice.
I
Yeah.
personally think asking about influences is boring. I don't know. I don't do it. I mean if band wants to talk about the band that they love, that's great. But I just like I'm trying to like find like a science experiment to figure out what popped out with this band is like I don't know. I don't know. Do people actually care about that? I don't know. Maybe I don't. So
Listen to us. It's pretty obvious what we
Yeah,
like.
I mean, we all
Yeah.
listen to a wide variety of stuff, so it's really hard to pinpoint little exact influences here and there because we
Yeah.
take it from everything, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Cool. Well, one thing that I personally like about your music, why I enjoyed it when I first heard it, is that there are these moody melodic lines, but that are very well written, but also the way they kind of interact with some of the guitar lines, it all feels very well calculated. And so I'm wondering, when you start writing a piece, what is usually the starting point? What's it based on? Is it based very much on riffs? Do you have like a lyrical idea you want to express? Is there like a vocal melody that comes out? Where what are the building blocks? Where are these tracks starting from?
That's a
anywhere.
good question. A lot of
Yeah.
times, I'll be honest. A lot of times, we'll be talking about, what do we want to do with this next song, and somebody will say, you know, right here, we just need something sad. We just need something soul crushing, something like that. And so it's like, oh, what about this line here? And somebody cooks something up in their brain and comes out with it, and it comes out being, kind of what becomes the theme of that song, right? So it's like, oh, we need something a little more up tempo, crushing. Oh, we'll write a riff kind of like that, and then kind of build around that. And I think all of our songs kind of try to do that, where we thought of what do we want this one to sound like, and we keep trying to work off of a theme for
Mhm.
that song. But although I'll admit, a lot of times are, oh man, we need to write something just like somber as hell or really sad, or it makes you want to just cry. So that's usually a lot of times what we're working with.
It's usually coming from a guitar riff mostly, though. I mean,
Yeah,
Brandon writes stuff. We all write stuff,
yeah,
So
that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, gosh, everybody's writing.
yeah.
Yeah. It always starts with somebody and then it ultimately winds up in the hands of Ben. And then that motherfucker will
Mhm.
make it this giant atmospheric just portrait. You know what I mean? It's like, how did that become that? What the fuck? It's cool.
Yeah, Brandon, you'll send us a riff and then a melody on top, and we'll switch it up in the studio, and it'll become totally something different, but it
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love that, and I also love how you just described your sound as sad, and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
Ultimately, it all falls back on that, you know?
yeah. I I don't. I mean, sad, depressing has been a part of metal forever, but it didn't start that way. You look like
No, no.
Maiden and Priest, and it's not. It's all triumphant. So I'm kind of wondering. It seems like it's always been there, but it hasn't. Like how did sad get into metal?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just human emotion, man. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
writing what you're feeling, and for whatever reason, I mean, why we know the reason. That's why where we took this band, and that's why we're doing this band. Like everybody else
yeah.
has been
Mhm.
metal bands like here that aren't sad,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
maybe angry,
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's true.
but
Yeah.
the point
Yeah.
of this band is sad. Yeah, you nailed it.
I wanted to talk a little bit about. I know you're from the Indianapolis area. Not a city. It's a city I've been to a few times. Not one I'm very familiar because I never lived there. But and maybe my viewers don't know this, but I grew up in Indiana before I moved to Minnesota back in college, and I'm wondering, what's your scene like in Indianapolis? I don't hear it much and talked about as like this big metal spot, you know?
If we were talking about like 10 years ago, maybe it's kind of dead, to be honest. We weren't really getting a big pull for any of the national acts that would come out. It was almost like nobody really cared. And
Mhm.
then there's just this surgence of people, and right now, top of the chain. I feel like. I mean, even local shows are selling out.
Sure.
So, and that's pretty crazy considering that would never have been a thing before. But you got a thing where there's a new generation of all these kids with bands coming out now that are just killing it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's always nice.
Yeah, and we've got Dustin at Stranger
Mhm.
Trap Black Circle, which is like the metal venue here in India. And he's just booking everything that he can get his hands on to come through right
Mhm.
now. He's also in Flesher, if you haven't heard Flesher yet.
Mhm.
They're Finding Darkness. It's fucking awesome. I don't want to start naming bands because then I'll forget people, but we have so many
Too many.
really bands right now and a lot of young bands, which is like really cool to see because we aren't young. We've been around for a long time. Like
Definitely not
just
young.
old. But it's so cool to see the scene doing what it is now because yeah, like 20 years ago it was awful, you know. And right now it's like the best it's ever been.
Indianapolis is kind of, from an outsider perspective, it seems like a sports city. You know, you got like the Indianapolis 500, you got Peyton Manning, but
Yep.
seems like there's a
We
music
got
scene
sports.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of sports.
Yeah. Now this is taking me back because, like, okay, so I went to high school in Indiana, in the northwestern part of the state, and I remember like I would go to Indianapolis sometimes. I would drive with my family down, and it's such a depressing state. It's just like there was where I was from in Indianapolis, and it was just 3 hours of absolute nothing. A lot of Casey's drive, like, like stops and like
Loves gas stations. Yep.
gas
All that.
stations. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
So many Menards. I don't know. This is just what I remember of. I lived in Indiana till I was about 18, and all I remember are the Menards and the Casey's. That's all I remember. I mean, I've been to Colts games. Um, I Yeah, I don't know. It's I just know Mike Pence is there, and fuck that guy. I
Fuck
know it's
that
like a
guy.
super red state now, which is not great, but
Not
I don't
good.
know. I don't I'm not talking shit against your about your state. I'm talking shit about the state I grew up in. And I figured we might have same opinions on how we feel about Indiana. So
Indiana's behind on a lot of the times.
yeah.
In comparison to the rest of the states. Yeah. So it's kind of a shithole, but it's home, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. States it's kind of fucked up, but there's some redeeming qualities, but not politically.
Yeah. It's very small. I feel like we all kind of know each other, you know, which is kind of nice at the end of the day. So it's not really overwhelming like a giant city, you know.
I love White Castle. And once I moved out of Indiana, they became so much harder to find. For some reason, when I lived in Indiana, they were everywhere. That's that's what I miss most about Indiana is the access to White Castles.
White Castle.
Have you had their fish sandwiches? Their fish sandwich is actually really good. It's my favorite.
I haven't had it. Like I said, there's not many White Castles around me anymore. Like they're
It's fantastic.
There's
It's
no
different
way.
cheese. It's fantastic.
No, no.
the way the fries are. I love the crinkle cut fry. The purple soda you get at White Castle. And then the burgers, they're just like the thin patty with the really crunchy pickle and those onions. I don't know, it's perfect.
Greasy onion burgers.
Yeah. I don't know.
Definitely a time and place for one.
Is there any I love going off topic with bands about food. Are there fast food restaurants that you crave? Or maybe you can't get where you're from? I don't know.
I don't know.
Man.
You hear about the ones like on the West Coast, right? That are so great.
In and
but-
Out.
Yeah, I mean,
I think In and Out's overrated. I've had it a few times.
In and Out was okay. I tried an area that had In and Out and Whataburger. Whataburger sucked, in my opinion. Everybody talked it up like it was the greatest shit ever. I'm like, I don't know.
no, I wasn't into it either. I mean, we had Whataburger when I lived in Texas for a few years, and we had it there, and it wasn't exciting at all to me.
Yeah, it was underwhelming.
What about like Del Taco? Like, isn't that like
that too?
But again, I mean,
fan.
I don't know. Are we supposed to love it because we haven't had it, or I don't know.
It was like Del Taco was like if Taco Bell cared a little more about ingredients and quantity, but it was just like the same shit, you know.
But I don't go to Taco Bell because I'm looking for quality food. I go to Taco Bell
you have
because
a
it's
point.
2 a.m. and
Yeah.
Right.
I do remember I don't I've never been to like too far to the West Coast, but I remember like I don't know why the fuck when I was a kid I was in Nebraska. My parents took me to Nebraska for some reason. My parents were pastors, so they went to a lot of churches to do like church conferences. So I think that's why I was in Nebraska. But that was the first time I had Taco John's, and I remember like, oh wow, this is dope. I wish I had Taco John's around me. I haven't had Taco John's since that one time I was in Nebraska. But it left a legacy of it. It left a memory. Like I really like Taco John's.
Maybe you shouldn't try it again because it's probably not going to live up to that.
Yeah, probably not.
Right, leave it alone.
Yep, it'll always be a legend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's not get too distracted anymore. But
I'm getting hungry.
yeah.
Time for some late night munchies.
So you're moving past kind of the indie label thing now with this record.
Mhm.
And you're putting this out on Profound Lore.
Yes.
What were those conversations and what ultimately led you to decide to, sign with Profound Lore?
Yeah,
Chris?
I can take that. Yeah. Pretty soon after we released Where the Shadows Adorn, Chris from Profound Lore like contacted us through our Bandcamp or whatever, and just I can't remember exactly what he said, but he liked the album and he just kind of wanted to know like what our plans were for the next one. But at that point, we were the album was just released basically, so we weren't ready to kind of look forward to the next one at that point yet. So I was like, hey man, thanks for reaching out, dude. Like, let me give us a little bit of time and I'll get back to you. And then as time went on, we started thinking about the next album a little bit, and we ended up having another label reach out to us, a pretty well-known label, I guess, and they wanted to talk to us about stuff as well. And I was like, okay, I guess we have to do this now because people are coming to us and
Yeah.
it's totally unexpected. And then eventually another label too. So I kind of took the lead and just started having conversations with Chris at Profound
Yeah,
Lore
yeah.
and these other labels a little bit, and just kind of seeing what was out there for the next album, letting them know, we're still working this album. We're not quite ready to, do anything yet, because we still needed to go play some shows and, kind of see where it took us. But then when they started coming to us a little bit, which, it's an honor to have people to want to work with you.
Yeah.
We were just talking to everybody, and we had a couple offers, but Profound Lore's offer was way better than anything else that we were offered at the time. And so I talked to Chris on the phone, talked to him, like just about his ideas, like what he liked about us, and his vision for our release if we were to sign with him. I talked with the other labels about their ideas too. I talked to people who had worked with these people too, like bands. I talked to some writers and other people, just kind of doing my little reference checks and all that. And, it just ended up, Profound Lore offered us a really good deal, for what we wanted to do. Very artist friendly. That label has, an amazing history like that. They put out so many, just top shelf metal records, and it's a very artist friendly label. He doesn't tell you what to do, what to write, or anything like that. He sees a band he wants to work with for whatever redeeming qualities they have, and we're extremely excited to put this out on Profound Lore. So
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you did have other offers. What exactly, was the selling point for Profound Lore over those other
I don't want to mention like the labels or anything, but like,
yeah, no, you don't have to.
selling point was the artist friendliness of the deal. Like we didn't want to get locked into like a 3 album deal
Yeah.
on a label when like, and it's not about money, but you do need to get you need to get money to record with or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be stuck in something for 3-4 albums, because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
The album, the deal we got here, is way more friendly to us as a band than what we were offered for the other stuff.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah, that too. And there was what was it like? Some of the other ones were like, they want you to be a little more tour based, be more of like a crazy exterior presence when we can't get away a whole lot. So we're more music driven than like being a band that's touring, 2, 3 months and steadily. You know what I mean? Some labels really need that out of bands, and I don't think we can really do that. So
Mhm.
Profound was definitely a lot more lenient in that regard, where he was more caring about just us putting out good music. So
Absolutely.
So there's like I mean yeah, I've heard a lot of labels stories like because bigger labels are like okay, yeah, we want you to put out this record, but we need you to support it by playing these
Yeah,
quote
yeah,
unquote festivals,
exactly.
and that was not put on the table for you. That was not like a requirement.
Well, no, there's no in our
Mm-mm.
contract. There's nothing saying we have to do any tours or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
think that Chris saw that we're getting these opportunities to play these festivals. We are going out on short tours. We're doing what we can, like as a band and still keeping our family lives and everything.
Mhm.
He knows that we're not gonna, sit on our ass and like not promote ourselves because, obviously we do, we get out there and we do what we can, and I think he's
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah, we're very DIY with that stuff. So
Mhm. Now, with the topic of touring though, do you plan on playing some shows? I mean, I know you're playing Midwest Terror. Um, I do follow you on Twitter and know and I've seen some of like the local gigs that y'all have done, but like are you coming out, you leaving the Indianapolis area to play anything at all, in support of this next record?
only time will tell. Coming up, my year is going to be pretty booked. I have a daughter due in like a month.
Hmm.
So that's going to take up a lot of my time for the rest of the year and maybe a little bit in the next. But otherwise, I'm very open to. I mean, I love playing with these guys. So any offer we get, we always take into consideration.
Yeah,
Mm.
I imagine we'll give Brandon some time to be a dad. Like the album's not coming out till the fall. We'll give it some time
Right.
to
Yeah.
resonate, and then we'll evaluate things next year. And I'm sure we'll do some stuff, but to the extent right now, I'm like, who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you do come up to Minneapolis, I will be there. So
All right.
Awesome.
I could point you to the right venues. Yeah, well, you outside of I like to kind of get the band to know the bands outside of metal. What do y'all do for fun outside of recording music? Do y'all have any hobbies? What is the people in this band?
I like to hang with my wife and my dog and my cat and read books. And that's
Yeah,
that's my that's my end really.
yeah, but what are you reading right now?
Nothing in particular. I'm a big poetry guy, so I mean, you can catch me reading 5 different ones in one day, really. So as far as like a straight book, not often.
Cool.
So anything that catches the mood at the time and keeps my brain moving.
Yeah,
Pretty
Who's
boring on
next?
my.
we're all simple men here, but I like to watch
Yeah,
wrestling.
Yeah.
And
Don's a wrestling guy. Yeah.
An
it
expert.
don't take a whole lot to keep me entertained.
So I do not claim to be a wrestling expert, but my one of my good friends up here brought me to a local wrestling match, the first one, and I was like, I get it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really entertaining. So I don't know
Yeah,
how much further I'm gonna explore it, but I understand the appeal. So
yeah. Some of that local stuff is a lot better than you think. You know what I mean? It's almost like a rock concert.
mhm.
I think
Mhm.
the rock and wrestling thing is a cool connection.
It was it was booked at a wedding reception venue that they just completely
Yeah,
turned around for like a wrestling match. It was really funny, actually.
Nice.
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Corey, what do you like to do?
I'm an artist. I tattoo for a living, so I'm constantly creating and drawing and busy. I like video games sometimes.
I do too. My video game hobby is very well documented. What are you playing right now?
I've been tinkering with Helldivers since it dropped.
Hmm.
Super
Okay, I haven't played it yet. I've seen all the news around it, and I've seen all the buzz around it. I don't from what I understand, it's very much like a co-op game, right? Like I don't do a lot of multiplayer, but is there like a single player component to it, or is it only just like an online game?
Yeah, you can single play it, but it becomes very, very difficult without. but
Mhm.
you can kind of use the other players as more like NPCs or something because you don't have to necessarily work with them. You don't have to necessarily talk with them.
Sure.
Uh, but yeah, it's a pretty straightforward game. It's pretty fun. So
Hell yeah.
it's a time waster. You just kind of go in, do a mission, get out, but it's basically like Starship Troopers, the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, it's straightforward just like that. It's kind of funny actually.
Cool.
Yeah, that and then I like playing horror games. Like Resident Evil is one of my more I guess I tried speed running some of the Resident Evil games. It's super fun to just try and beat your own time, stuff like that. But
Have you played the 4 remake?
no, I haven't. I haven't yet. The remakes I like two. I wasn't fond of three, so I was kind of weary of four.
Yeah.
Uh, but I've heard good things about it. So
I actually just purchased because it was on sale on Steam this last week, the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I'm really excited to see how that is. So I think that might be my next playthrough. But yeah.
heard a lot of good stuff about that and how extensive it is too. So
Well, they stretched Final Fantasy VII into 3 new games. So that's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of content for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, other than that, just tattooing. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm good.
Who's next?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I got a couple of boys, so we hang out and do whatever. We have fun, and then I don't know. I like to get into like niche sports and weird stuff that you might only see on YouTube. So I know I like to know a little about a lot of things. And I like for instance I know way too much about professional disc golf. But I also like to play it when I get a chance. So
Hell yeah.
it's so fun to get
Didn't you
outside.
play it in Denver?
I did. I took an
Yeah.
Uber 30 miles out of town so I could stay near the mountains when we were out in Denver, and it was totally worth it. I froze my ass off. I shot terribly. The wind was horrible. I bought a disc just to get through the round, and it was a blast. I mean, it's the best pictures I ever got out of a disc golf course. So I like to do that kind of stuff, and I don't know, it's fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What's ice
Yeah.
football?
Ice football. It's like hockey players, but they're playing football and they can't
Yeah.
skate, they have to run, but on skates. It's
Yeah,
fucking
sounds awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I just saw it. It's hilarious.
Hold up. I am opening a browser right now and we're looking this up.
American ice football, I think is what it's called.
All right, we're ice football.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's hilarious because they're on skates, but for some reason they're not skating, they're like running. It's awesome. I don't know.
Start a team.
Yeah, I would do it.
Like I must
What
find out
in
about
what in
Yes.
the hell?
this.
I can tell.
I mean, yeah, it's literally they're in football. They're falling down. This is hilarious.
So
How did
good.
you hear about this?
I just scrolling. I think I was just scrolling on the web one day and it just popped up. I think it was Twitter or something like that. And it just popped up and I just started diving into it and it's hilarious. I would probably pay to go see it.
There looks like there's an audience for it. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'd never heard of it until the other day. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sick. You you heard it here first. Maybe if there's any like ice football teams out there that are looking to get a name out and want to sponsor this show or want to sponsor Mother of Graves, we will gladly take that endorsement because clearly this is probably the first YouTube metal interview where ice football has been mentioned. So you have
I would hope.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna break them. I think they're gonna just get huge now. They're gonna get like a ESPN deal. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like the out track when they come out on the ice.
Yeah.
Mother Graves.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess
It's
my
on you.
turn.
Yeah, you're up.
I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. I barbecue's my hobby. I mean, my wife and my kids are my life. But yeah, like in the spare time when I'm not like sneaking into the basement to like write Mother of Grave songs, I'm in the backyard barbecuing. I used to do competitive barbecue. And I just love to cook everything, but you know, smoking meats and grilling and everything is kind of my favorite style of cooking. So that's
An
Yeah.
my
art.
what's up?
I said it's an art.
Art. It is an art. It's crazy. Yeah, I used to have a barbecue food truck back in the day, the catering business, and like I said, competitive stuff. And you know, it's creating. It's fun. It's hard to do well. It's easy to do poorly.
I've always thought we should bring that along with us for shows for extra revenue.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know. We went to the East Coast and rented an RV to do some shows this past summer, and I thought about bringing my grill along, but it was
Should have. Could have, would, should have.
Well, we were actually packed in pretty well
I-
for RV.
yeah,
We were. Yeah, it was a little much.
Real.
All right, I'm gonna ask you my favorite question to ask bands. Now, I always kind of when I ask, I save it for last. But imagine, and we've already touched on the fact that I'm somewhat familiar with your city, but still, I'm coming over there. You know, I'm taking the next plane to Indianapolis. You know that this is happening. Um, and I have 2 days in Indianapolis. Where are you sending me to eat? You know, where do I gotta go?
Ooh, to eat?
Oh, okay. Do you have any eating restrictions? Are you vegetarian or anything like that?
I am a vegetarian.
Okay. That makes it a little more challenging. Hold on. You're pescatarian.
I'm pescatarian.
You might have a better idea
Mhm.
because I would send you to Working Man's Friend for their burger and a huge stein of beer because it's fantastic flat
Mhm.
top bar burger, and their onion rings are amazing, but you're not gonna eat that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have an affinity for I love Thai food. There's Ethiopian food. I'm very into that. Like I like Latin food. Yeah.
Place Abyssinia. They were-
Abyssinia,
yeah.
that's Ethiopian
That's
food, like over
Ethiopian,
on the west
yeah.
side. We have on the west side of Indianapolis, there are so many just different ethnic restaurants. Just it's amazing. There's so many amazing restaurants on this like strip of like 38th Street, not Washington Street.
Yeah.
But Indianapolis has a great food scene compared to, 15 years ago. So you can get about anything you want. It's pretty good.
I mean, Yats is pretty.
Yeah.
Yats has a lot of options. It's like Creole, pretty good stuff. And then I would probably tell you to go to Mimi Blues.
They closed.
They closed?
They closed.
Well, can't go to Mimi Blues now.
Don't go to Mimi Blues. They had like my favorite veggie meatball, and it was just insane because they would make meatball sliders. And they were,
It just closed recently. I saw it online somewhere.
well,
Man.
don't go there. But yeah, Yats, they have a pretty wide selection, and they also have veggie options as well.
Cool.
It's really good stuff. Yeah.
Really, that's my favorite thing to do when I go to a new city. Just fucking eat. Like it's 2 months out, but I'm going to Maryland Death Fest in Baltimore. I've never been to Baltimore, and of course, I'm excited to go to the fest and see the metal bands. That's why I'm going. That's why I bought a ticket. But I almost feel like I'm more excited to just eat a bunch of Baltimore restaurants and just get fat and eat food. Like that's kind of like gonna be the highlight of my trip is just eating.
Yeah.
No, that's the way to go.
That's how I feel about touring, really, is like it's like 80% the fun is towards food, in my opinion. Then
Yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, we gotta go play a show tonight too, but where are we eating for breakfast, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to St. Louis next weekend with the kids for a little spring break trip, so I'm excited to go just eat in St. Louis.
Nice.
If you come
Hell
to
yeah.
Indy, get some food.
Yeah, come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
revisit the state.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. I don't. I would. Why not? I have no reason to go to Indianapolis right now, but sure. I mean, a new city to go to or revisit. Yeah, you're right. Revisit my roots. Most of my memory in Indiana, we kind of touched about it, was like I was in Indianapolis a lot because it was like where Indiana church conventions happened, which is the evangelical world, especially in Indiana, is a different planet, and we won't get into it, but it's that was my Indiana experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't have anything left myself. to ask, but of course, I would love to give the floor to you for any last words, any plugs you have, anything viewers should be looking out for. Take it.
Okay.
Go for
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah.
So, well, we already talked about it, but we've got an album coming out this fall on Profound Lore Records. It's called The Periapt of Absence. It's, I don't know. If you liked our last album, you're gonna like this one, I believe. We're May, what day are we playing in Seattle? May 10th in Seattle at Northwest Terror Fest. We are
I
playing
think it's the
that.
11th. I think we were playing the 11th. Yeah.
Playing on, I don't even know if we're supposed to say what day we're playing yet. So let's scratch that.
No, I think it's on their
Never
website.
mind.
It's on their site.
Okay.
It's on their site.
It is. Yeah. They have it up.
Play the 11th.
We're playing the 11th,
Yeah,
and
the-
then we're playing back in Indy with Wayfarer and Sonia on.
The 9th.
May 19th.
Love both of those bands.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a fantastic show. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Wayfarer actually reached out to us and invited us to play that show on their own, and I was like, "Fucking shit, I love your band, dude. Thank
Right.
you." So that was
Cool.
really cool. So yeah, those are only 2 shows we've got booked right now, and the album's coming out. We're gonna focus on getting that done, and then we're gonna let
Mhm.
Brandon have a baby and have some time, and then we'll see what
And
happens
we'll
after
see.
that.
Yeah.
So
Just to confirm, I did go on the Northwest Terror website, and it does say you are playing the 11th. So all
Thank
clear in
you.
there. Yeah.
I don't know when you're gonna post this, but I didn't want to like blow their announcement.
Yeah, no, you're good.
They didn't put up times or anything, I don't think. But
No,
they have it up.
there's no times, no stages. It just says the bands. Look, you're playing the same day as like Ascended Dead and
Yep.
Stick and Undergang. Nice.
Wonder Gang is tight. I saw them in the brewing room of Indy City Brewery with Spectral Voice in 2016. And it
damn.
was a 2-band show. It was like an off show from one of their tours. And they had booked it in the fucking back room of a brewery, which is really weird, but maybe 20 people came. Coolest show I've seen in my life.
You said it was like 2016?
Somewhere around that point, yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna say, because if you put those 2 bands in a room today,
Yeah. Oh, I know. This was before I think they were really
Yeah.
known, you know? It was
I
like,
mean, that's-
man, this is some badass, really dirty underground fucking kind of shit. And yeah, it was cool. And they ripped.
Oh, I'm sure they ripped.
Yeah. And it was
I've
a
heard
free
those
show.
bands.
It was on the 4th of July, I remember, because there were fireworks going on outside. So
Nice.
very cool. Yeah.
Happened last week, and you're pulling.
And
up shit
he's like,
from
"Oh, 2016, I remember that." Yeah. So we love you, Brandon.
Hell yeah.
Well, Mother of Graves,
Well.
thank you so much for joining me. It was a
Yes.
great time. Thank you to my patrons. My name is Maddie, aka Beaver Mosh. I'm signing off.